talk about tomorrow's superstars today. You talk about OVW superstar. A man who is a decorated champion on Monday Night Raw, former World Tag Team Champion.
Weak link's what I used to call him, the weak link.
Introducing first, from Cleveland, Ohio, weighing 228 pounds, Nick Nemeth, ready to do battle. And the ushers Ray Ramsey out of the way. And the OVW faithful, very accustomed to Cleveland's own Nick Nemeth. As you see, he's donning those Kent State University singlet.
Is that where he went, Kent State?
That's right.
Seems like we got another guy on this show that went Kent State.
There's a man to keep your eyes on. A very athletic individual. Calls himself the Big Cat. And I hope he's not in over his head. With Nick Nemeth staring across the squared circle at him on this particular evening. His opponent, the Big Cat. And the Big Cat, we'll see if he lives up to that name, see if he has reflexes like a Big Cat, see if he lands on his feet, because you better believe Nick Nemeth looking to take him off him.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about the Big Cat. You done any homework on him? You done any?
Quiet guy, wouldn't let me have a word with him.
Not anybody that's been on my recruitment list as of yet, but maybe with an impressive match with Nick Nemeth, he can change that tonight. We'll see.
See, Nick Nemeth.
Got a good look. I'll give him that.
Nemeth appeared to show some shades of intimidation. Looked like he was ready to go upon the Big Cat's entrance.
Well, he always has been intimidated. That's been his problem.
What do you mean that's been his problem?
He's,
well, please, you do some career intervention here. What would you do if you were managing the career of Nick Nemeth?
If I were managing Nick Nemeth, what would I do?
That's right.
I'd fire him.
That's how you'd solve it.
Get rid of the weak link.
Well, there's a lot of people here in the Davis Arena that would disagree wholeheartedly with that call on
Nick
your part.
Nemeth. There's people here that would want to manage Nick Nemeth. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the Big Cat trying to show him he's got big guns there. Now, remember, I'm not particularly fond of either one of these guys. Nemeth, he cost the Spirit Squad the tag titles, if you ask me. And I'm sure you would have asked me whether you have or not.
Oh.
And then you had Johnny Jeter. He was really good. Not. And then you had, who was that?
So you're calling Johnny Jeter a former OVW heavyweight champion not very good?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tell me one of the most prized
and then there was
possessions in the wrestling world.
And then there was
man that holds it is not very good.
And then there was that Nick Mitchell, and I haven't heard anything out of him since the disbandment of the squad. Well, and there's Mitchell again. Or not Mitchell, but Nemeth. Just pick a Nick and give him a name. Not even original enough to be the only Nick on his team.
What are you talking about? Well, it would appear that Nemeth is a bit rattled at this point by the offense of the Big Cat. May have taken a hard hit to the cranium, and that brain may be
Now, if you
rattled.
want to talk about Mikey Mondo in the Spirit Squad and talk about champions, championship bloodlines, I'll be happy to talk to you about that.
Well, we will talk about Mike Mondo. He will be in action.
Is he on the card tonight?
Taking on Anthony Bravado, a huge competitor in his own right.
I never heard of Anthony Bravado. This match will probably last about 4 seconds.
Mike Mondo.
Never heard of him.
Hasn't had a match that lasted more than a few minutes in the past few weeks. Last night, he had one that went about 50 seconds with Mike Tolar, another graduate of Kent State, former colleague and teammate of Nick Nemeth.
Maybe that school just doesn't breed good wrestlers. You think that's part of the problem?
No, I don't think that's part of the problem at all.
You're basically said to me that Nick Nemeth and who's the other guy?
Mike Tolar.
Yeah.
Kent State All-American. Nick Nemeth recruited right out of Kent State, right out of college.
Who
by
recruited
World
him?
Wrestling Entertainment.
Who's the guy? Who went after him?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'd imagine.
Bet you it was Pat Patterson.
I'd imagine Patterson or the Briscoes had their
probably
eyes on Nick Nemeth.
Probably Patterson.
Oh, well. Say what you will. Nemeth scouted right out of college by World
I'm sure it
Wrestling
was
Entertainment. All right, you're going to drive that one home. And found himself here in OVW where he started to make his name and has done so very successfully, if I may say so myself.